and they lose Kvaratskhelia. They don't have Kim. They don't have Zielinski. This is a miracle job by Antonio Conte, and they've been pretty lucky so far. But I think as time goes on, it can't continue.
So 2-2, it finishes a point apiece, and this is what it means in terms of the table. Bottom line is Inter, with a win in the Derby d'Italia tomorrow against Juventus, could overtake Antonio Conte's side. This title race, it's already had plenty of twists and turns. We thought Inter were on the verge of overtaking Napoli a few weeks ago. They stumbled in their make-up match. Then Atalanta looked to be on the outside looking in. They came roaring back into the picture. They drew today. At one point, Napoli looked to be running away with it, just a falter. I mean, the title race has changed so many times, hasn't it, over these last couple of weeks? Where does this leave us now with the results so far today?
Feeling scared more than ever about Napoli, because you could see Antonio Conte on the sideline, and I think he's looking around and he's saying, who am I supposed to put in? What am I supposed to do? He had to change from a 4-3-3, which was the base of their system, to a 3-5-2 because Neres gets injured. He's out for 40 days. He doesn't have the players to play that system. I'm not even sure that he's got the players to play the 3-5-2. When I look at the wingbacks, when I look at who you have to put in, yes, Raspadori and Lukaku can link up, and that looks really good. But I'm scared for them going forward. On the flip side, though, you look at the stretch of matches that they had. The Juventus, which I didn't think that they would win, they won. Atalanta, didn't think that they would win, they won that game. And then they had the Roma, Udinese, and Lazio all with ties. So you could say from another perspective that they come out of this without a loss, with getting a good amount of points. But it's just going forward, who scores them the goals? What solutions do you have? And if you have any other injuries, it keeps bringing you back to what they did in January by not replacing a superstar in Kvaratskhelia.
Has that buried them, Grella? Because the matches they've got coming up, they've got Como, Inter, Fiorentina, Venezia, then they've got a game against Milan. And with these lack of players and injuries and non-replacement for Kvaratskhelia, how worrying is this?
Look, if this Napoli side, it's worrying because they never replaced them, and they don't have really the team. And Juan Jesus is the backup center back, and Raspadori is the answer off the bench. And obviously, you're missing so many influential players from the Scudetto winning season, and also totally different style of play. This is a miracle job by Antonio Conte that we're even having these conversations that they're in first place for this long, right? This is with nothing, with no real investment, with no real style. He's relying on a Lukaku that's almost unrecognizable, right? It's not a sharp, dynamic Lukaku. He's relying on an average Lukaku.
It's not the same Lukaku that we saw in Inter.
No,
he's still putting up numbers.
He's relying on McTominay, McTominay to score his goals, and Anguissa to score his goals, where those guys are the number 8s that can add, but they're not your goal scorers. And they lose Kvaratskhelia. They don't have Kim. They don't have Zielinski. This is a miracle job by Antonio Conte, and they've been pretty lucky so far. But I think as time goes on, it can't continue. 1-0 win, draw, sitting defensive. I'm surprised it's gone on for this long.
You made a shout for Paixão now after seeing him play for Feyenoord this past week. That looks like it would have been a fantastic replacement.
No, Paixão is a great player. We discussed about who would replace Kvaratskhelia when he leaves. What players do we say? And I said Paixão will be a great grab by Napoli if they can get him out of Feyenoord. And he had a fantastic game against AC Milan. I'm sure he's going to have another game coming up into this Champions League. I disagree with Grella. I think for me, Conte is an experienced manager. You can't take experience away from what he's done as a manager and building that winning mentality. I could see Napoli continuing the same vein and getting these jobs done, getting these results that will surprise us. I think that the title race is still completely
do a lot of this.
They can keep doing it, and today's result, it might not seem great in Napoli for what they have to do, but they don't have to worry about Inter. They need to worry about themselves. Inter still have Champions League to worry about.
Inter have to go to Torino tomorrow to beat Juventus. We're putting that down like, they're going to go up. 100%. I don't think Inter's going to win that match against
Inter
Juventus.
have top games ahead, and they've still got Europe. For Napoli, it's just focused ahead. One game at a time. I feel they're in a great place, and the title race is still wide open.
It's just the guys that go down, because when you look at the left-back issue, where Oliveira was the starter, he gets injured. Then Spinazzola, your backup, he gets injured as well. And then I don't have to keep repeating the same thing over and over again about who's got to play on that left side. So if they lose one more piece to this puzzle, you think to yourself, already they're going at their max, right? How can they find even more solutions from this? So that's where my fear would lie with this Napoli, because I do think a lot of these results, they're still good. They're still in first place.
Has Conte been very vocal about the lack of signings? As vocal as he normally is?
So basically he said, I don't want to just complain about one. He's trying to say that the infrastructure at Napoli is not there. So it's not just about signing one player. It's we need to build Napoli as a club to be able to compete in so many different things. If you think about where they were last year to this year, in the summer, they didn't get the guys really to compete for a Scudetto.
Well, remember what he said at the beginning in the preseason. He said this is worse than I would have imagined. We're in a really
After the
bad
first loss to Verona.
Do you think they've been lucky though, Marco? Do you agree with Grella?
Every team in the world needs luck. Is Real Madrid lucky when they get something that goes their way? No. When you do the right things, you put yourself in the right positions. Yes, winning teams get luck.
I think secretly with me, with Conte, when I look at the manager...
You guys can laugh, but it's the fact.
I'm not laughing.
A team's getting lucky. You can't put all of Napoli being in first place on luck. You're crazy.
I put on Antonio Conte, though. I put a big on Antonio Conte.
Finally, you learned about
the thing is, defensively...
Before you said he had no style, he's got nothing.
We don't know who's going to score for them. Marco just said, we don't know who's going to score for them. They struggle scoring goals, right? They struggle creating all these chances. But in the last 5, they have no clean sheets either, and they concede goals late. That's another issue because normally, okay, you say, all right, they don't score a lot of goals, they don't play great football, but they're really good defensively.
In
the last 3 draws, in the last 3 games that they drew, they're conceding goals late in games.
Some of the individual performances we want to point out, Isaksen, because he had a bit of a roller coaster day. He had that one that was fantastic in the goal, but then he had a real good opportunity that he wasn't able to capitalise on.
That's sort of been the story of Isaksen at Lazio. We always thought he was going to take off. He was ousted by Tudor at one point, and then Baroni said, no, you're going to be important for me. And I would say in the last games, I've seen him be a lot more consistent. He's done the things that he needs to do the right way. This one, it's unfortunate that he's not able to score. It's a brilliant work to play on this left side, which this left side of Lazio is so dominant. This is Tavares going wide. He finally puts in a good ball. And from here, with the quality that Isaksen has, you think, all right, he's going to score here.
That's not tough.
And he's gonna,
that's not tough at all. That shot is not tough at all. That you have to. Okay, I'm sitting here in the seat. Obviously, I'm not gonna. It's hard for me to criticize him. But you don't have to rip that. You don't have to hit that hard.
Wasn't he side footing?
You don't. Yeah, but side foot. But you don't need to go top corner, and you don't need to hit it hard. All you need to do is send it back to where it came from. The goalkeeper the ball's coming across. The goalkeeper's moving like this. Any ball going back that direction, in the vicinity of that corner, is a goal. You have to take care of that one. You don't have to poof and try to spin it in. You have to just take care of it, guide it into the corner, and that's a simple goal. Dybala, is that a goal for Dybala?
He's Dybala, and
25 out of 25. That's a goal for Dybala. Why? Because it's not a difficult finish. That was an easy finish.
When he's on.
That's interesting what he's saying. That you don't have to go hard with it. You just have to caress it in.
Yeah, because the goalkeeper's moving and the ball's going to come back that way. All you have to do there, if I'm there in that situation, all I'm thinking is target.
I've only scored that goal in EAFC 25, so I can't say. But it seemed like he was trying to. Isn't the pace of the ball that's coming? That ball's coming with a lot of pace. I mean, how much can he slow it down? He's side-footing it and trying. Isn't he just trying to caress it?
You could see he put a lot of power into it. Exactly what I'm saying is you don't need to. You just need to guide it, almost as if you're passing it there.
The first one he scored, I mean, that's one that you wouldn't expect him to score.
It was
He's
fantastic.
Taking a chance on it, and he absolutely.
Dybala would have taken that shot the exact same way. The only difference top corner.
We can't compare Dybala and
world-class
Isaksen.
player. Exactly.
No, listen, fantastic finish for the first one, obviously. But if I have a player like Isaksen, score me 10 of the other ones.
Yeah.
Don't score me any of the other ones. Score the ones you should score. Look, I thought, aside from that miss, I thought he was great. Tavares as well. I thought like he breaks the line so well. He gets forward well. But he got into so many areas where he just ballooned it over the goal or ballooned it out of play. And they just lacked that last pass or two to hurt Napoli.
When Noslin came in for Castellanos, who was injured, Noslin, you could tell, was like a fish out of water when he was playing as a number 9. He doesn't have the movement. Back to goal, he looked clumsy. And then finally, Dia comes in. Noslin goes out. Why? What does Noslin do? He takes on his defender, few step overs, creates room for a shot. So it just looked awkward for Lazio when they were forced to play a guy who's not a number 9 in the number 9 role.
It was.